Give me 1 second. We put up these notes. No, it just popped up in here. Because there's a fuzz behind it. Can you hear it? This one. Mic's on. I can hear that. The connection's on. No, it's still doing that. Still making that chocolate move in the background. Yeah, it's still doing it. Now because I turned it down. No, it's still doing it. Give us 1 second. We're just trying to sort out this this audio. Yes, still here. Give me a 1 if you can hear us. We're just trying to sort out the sound. We don't know if it's missing up or if it's too loud. So just drop me a 1. Let me know if you can hear us or not. Yeah, that's right. That's so close to you. Just on the table. Just operate on the table. You know. Okay, if my mom comes on, you see me, yeah? Yeah. Take a look at it. Okay. Yeah. Everyone actually does enough. Under what? The battery will close and shit. Don't worry. Alright, this is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday Locus. And there's a lot that's been going on. And listen, we're going to talk about a lot today, man. Black people think because they're what? Because they're doing a little march, they think they're revolutionary now. Listen, man, that won't make you a revolutionary. I'm going to show you what it does, man. And we're going to go into a few, listen, we're going to go over some slave revolts, man, and all of those things. Listen, what black people do today ain't what they was doing back then. The thing is, we've been marching our whole life, man. We've been marching our whole life. Doing what? Begging for no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Listen, man, our enemy's been killing us for years. As long as we've lived, we've been under these people. Ask your father and your grandfather, they've seen the same kind of marches that we do today, man. Imagine your granddad was marching 50-something years ago, talking about no justice, no peace, and talking about he wants to be equal, and it's still not equal, man. We should let you know what. Let's try a different way. The thing is this, man. We've tried everybody else's way. Now it's time for everybody to listen to us in the I.S.U.P.K and do things our way, man. We've tried your way for like 100 years, man. We've tried your way for like 200 years, and where did that get us? Nowhere. And this Black Lives Matter march was only what? It's like a 2-week thing. It's like a short vacation. It's like what? It's like after 5-6 days, everyone goes back to being normal. Yesterday, everyone turned their picture black. Everyone turned their picture black, talking about Black Lives Matter, Blackout Tuesday. Blackout Tuesday doesn't make you a revolutionary, man. A revolutionist. Blackout Tuesday doesn't mean anything. All you did was what? Put your little box in your profile picture black. That ain't changing nothing, man. That's not you spending and changing nothing. That's not you. That's not gonna stop black people from killing black people, man.
That's right.
That's not gonna stop the police from killing us. That's not gonna stop us being what? Number one in all these diseases and number one in jail. That's not gonna stop that, man. Putting a little black box. Listen, man. What's the point of putting a little black box if behind that black box you're getting high somewhere, man? Behind that black box you what? Interracial marriage, man. Behind that black box you're doing everything else. That black box don't mean nothing. But for black people, we see it as, oh yeah, if we put that, we're gonna see some change. Listen, man, we've been trying to do that for years. One time it was put in the what colours was put in? Remember the French
flag? French flag one time.
The French flag was put in the next so-called black colour. What they say it was green, red, and black, I believe. Once upon a time they had that. They put the fist. We was in London the other day. You heard black men saying, shouting black power, black power. Listen, man, shouting black power ain't gonna do nothing. Shouting black power ain't gonna do nothing, man. Stop getting high, man. That's black power, man. Get in the I.S.U.P.K. That's black power, man. Come and serve God and join your brothers. That's black power, man. You're shouting black power and your actions is just going to be the same as when you want to leave as it was before. Nothing ain't going to change, man. But let's get the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. Give me a second. Oh shit, give me 1 second. I'll touch it once. Give me 1 second. Hey,
God.
How's it going?
Khan. Matthew 24.
Matthew 24 and 1.
Verse what?
Verse 1.
Verse 1, Khan. Matthew chapter 24, verse 1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the building of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them,
and they came to Christ to show Christ the temple. So they come to show him the building. Like, oh, look at this. Go ahead.
And Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be one, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be.
Christ is not going to be one stone left upon another. Why? Because our oppressor, man, the same man that's killing black people in the streets, did what? Came and was killing us in Jerusalem, man. And the ones that didn't flee the mountains, they stayed behind and they tried to fight. They tried to fight, man. They was fighting a long battle. So they would attack, the Romans would attack, they would move backwards. The Romans would keep attacking until all the Jews had to keep moving backwards, man.
Right.
That's what the Romans starved us out in the cities. Same way, man. Same way they're killing us today. They was killing us in 70 AD, man. Christ said, marvel not. Soon one stone ain't going to be upon another. Why? Because this devil destroyed our temple, man. He destroyed what was only to us. And he's destroying us right now, man. You reckon?
Give one more try.
He's destroying us right now, man. In 2020, we're still trying to get justice from the same devil that was killing us from 70 AD, man.
That's right.
Christ prophesied of it, man. Even before that, it was killing us, man. They, give me 1 second. We're just going to see if the sounds too up. Give us 1 second.
God.
My turn, yeah?
Yeah, don't so is it Tasman, is it coming through 12?
Canada one can. Hello?
Can you hear me? Is it fuzzy?
Can hear you now. Yeah, fuzzy, yeah.
Yeah, it's
God.
fuzzy. Yeah, it's still fuzzy. Give us 1 second, I'm just going to plug it back out.
Canada one can.
Can you hear me now? Is it quiet?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Right, no sense, guys. And then they've been killing us from 70 AD, man. That's what Christ was saying, man. Marvel not. What happened? They stole Jerusalem. The ones that didn't flee, they put a great slaughter to us. And this is what they're doing to us right now in America and in England. The same enemy that we had in 70 AD is the same enemy that we got right now, man. The same enemy that we had that Christ told us about is the same enemy we got right now. The same enemy Paul was talking about is the same enemy we got right now. So they've destroyed us, and we go into them talking about no justice, no peace. Like, how much more marching do we have to do? How much? Oh, and it's in the next one as well. The police is lined up there, and you got black men doing what? Dancing in front of them, like this is Stomp the Yard, man. Dancing in front of them. What's that next silly dancing movie called?
Which one?
The one the older women used to watch, and Chris Brown was in there. And is it Stomp the Yard?
Step up, stop the yard,
save the last dance. This is the things, man. People, these young brothers is what? Dancing in front of the police. There was another video that I seen. Some brother singing about his black and he's being killed. That's not going to stop white people from killing you, man. You singing ain't going to stop them from killing you, man. I mean, you're unarmed and they still kill you. So how singing going to make them stop? Like black men have become weak, man. Singing. And they're still killing you or dancing. Like this is Stomp the Yard. So you mean to say a black man dies and the only thing you can do is dance? Or the only thing you can do is walk with a sign that says no justice, no peace. And then you're also marching with our enemies, man. It's not even like it's only Israelites in these marches. You're marching with all these other nations that hate you also. The reason they're doing this is because it looks good and it benefits them. They don't really care about what you're going through, man. They're more happy that what McDonald's is open today, like McDonald's is back open today in the UK. They're more happy about that, man. They don't care about your black life and whatnot. And the same way they don't care about our lives, we ain't supposed to care about their lives, man. How about we let them not care? How about we don't care? Let them do them, and we do us. Read on.
Canada one can. There shall not be left, Slakia. There shall not be left here one stone upon another.
And listen, man.
That shall not be thrown. That shall not be thrown down.
Christ said they're going to destroy the temple, man. One stone ain't going to be left upon another. And that's what they did, man. They destroyed it. And also what? In slavery, what did they used to do? They used to burn down our houses, man. If one man was coming for a crime to come through and burn down our cities, These is them same people. The same people Christ was warning us about in Matthew the 24th chapter, saying the one stone left upon another because they're going to destroy it. It's the same things what they're doing to our houses. Not leaving one stone upon another because they burn it down. And they say that we the looters and we the troublemakers.
That's right.
And all of these things. And they beat black men down so much that what now? A black man thinks he's a revolutionist because he puts up a black screen on Instagram. He puts up a black screen on Snapchat. He puts up a black screen on Facebook. Listen, man, that black screen you're putting up don't make a difference to you. Listen, you black screen every night when you smoke weed, man, because you get high and fall asleep and you ain't aware of anything, man.
That's right.
You've been black screening your whole life, man. You put up a black screen against this police brutality your whole life, man.
Right.
You don't get oppressed, and then they tell you, oh, let's put up a black screen, and then you do it, man. How about you join with your people and do it a different way? How about you do it the way in the I.S.U.P.K, man? We can cripple their economy, man. That's what we can do. We can cripple their economy. We can separate from them. We can stop loving them. We can stop giving them our all. We can stop joining their military. We can stop joining their police force. We can stop doing all of that, man. That's what we can do. But instead, what do we want to do? Still give them all our money, still have sex with their women, and then complain when a black man gets killed. Listen, man, if that's what you're doing, you don't deserve to speak, man. Half these people trying to speak up for black people don't deserve to speak.
That's right.
The pastor doesn't deserve to speak. Obama don't deserve to speak. And also another thing, man, these celebrities don't deserve to speak. Like, their job is to entertain their master, man. You sharing what a celebrity said, saying, yeah, this is so deep. It's not, man. The celebrity's job is to entertain his master, man. That's what it is.
Right.
Their job is to play football and be a cage fighter and be whatever they are. That's what their job is to do, man. To entertain the oppressor. Their job ain't to speak on what's going on in the black community. That's our job, man. So let the men whose job it is do their job instead of you people talking about there no justice, no peace.
Right.
How much time you gonna repeat it, man? You ain't been given justice, and the white man's still getting his peace, man. You ain't stopped his peace yet. Talking about no justice, no peace. Read on.
Right. Yeah, so like the other one, speaking of burning down, man, they burned down Wall Street, right?
Right, exactly.
I'm saying, go on.
Exactly.
Verse Matthew 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privily, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of the...
They came up to him saying, all right, tell us when shall these things be. They wanted the time frame. So Christ is going to, all right, obviously don't tell them exactly when it is, but he lets them know what's going to lead up to it, and so forth. Read on.
When shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And
the end of the world is what? People look at the end of the world like a movie where the credits come down and you go to heaven and this place don't exist no more. That's not what it's talking about. The end of the world is what? The end of Esau's rulership, man. Because the Bible says what? Esau
That's right.
is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. So they wanted to know what?
Right.
When are these devils going to stop oppressing us, man? When are we going to rule? When do we have to suffer? When are we going to stop suffering? When are we going to be in poverty? Stop being in poverty? When are we going to stop living in the ghettos? That's what they was asking, man. They wanted this end of the world to come, meaning what? They wanted the end of Esau's reign, man. Because Esau's reign means what? Esau's reign means your downfall, man. Esau's rulership means what? He rules over you. Esau's glory is your pain and your suffering, man. Him being on top of the world means you being on the bottom of the world. And they asked, all right, then, when's the end of the world? Meaning, how much longer are we going to be going through this? How much longer are these people going to be putting their knees on our necks, man? How much longer are these people in the street? Go ahead.
Okay. It was just going fuzzy. It's cleared up a bit now.
Has it cleared up now?
No, it's still doing it. I don't know if it's my side or
I believe it's probably this side, you know. What's it coming through? Coming through like now?
Yeah, same. Message.
I beg you check it on this. Is it coming through fuzzy?
No, this side.
I think it's your side, you know.
My side, okay.
Yeah, also what? So ESO do what? They come and they burn down your they come and they burn down your houses, burn down your cities, and you try to fight back. And you're the problem. Your brother gets killed in the street. You're angry about it. Black people don't know how to express themselves any other way. So what do? They fight back and whatnot. And what does ESO do? Calls them rebels and this and that, and talks about how he wants to shoot them. Listen, man, even all these other nations is coming up against us. Every time in the UK, what you realize is every time in the UK, once something happens to black people, the riot, and then somehow it turns into all the other nations against us. Every single time it's happened that way, man. In the 2010 riots with Mark Rowan, black people's rioting because what? They was mad that Mark Rowan got killed, man. They was mad about what happened to Mark Rowan. So the rioting, then what happened? East Indians started attacking black people, man. And then there was some brothers that weren't going to stand for it, man. And they knocked over 3 of them East Indians, and then three of them East Indians died, man. They said that they went so high up in the air and was dead by the time they hit the ground, man. You can Google it. 3 of them East Indians died. The brothers went to jail, had a trial, and they got found not guilty, man. Which means they got found not guilty, which means they didn't do it, man. They did it, but they didn't do it. Whereas the courts wanted to find them guilty, but they had no proof, man. And it turned into every nation against us, which lets you know once these race riots kick off, you thinking, oh, don't worry, my enemy is just the white man. Nah, man, your enemy is everyone. Your enemy is the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese. Yeah, your enemy is everybody. Read on.
Another one, verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
Listen, man, Christ said, take heed that no man deceive you. Your pastor's deceiving you, man. Your pastor can't tell you what's the signs before the end of Esau's rulership. Your pastor can't tell you that. Your pastor makes you believe that, you know what, life's going to get better under this level. Your pastor makes you believe that, don't worry. The solution is what? Putting more black men in the police force. Listen, man, when black men go in the police force, they do thinking that their daddy does, man, which is what? Start harming black people also. That's what happens. A black man joins the police force and forgets that he's a black man, thinks he's a white man. Go ahead.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive.
Listen, man. Many people come saying the Christ, man. People physically say to him, and these Christians say to follow him when they don't, man. All these people murdering black people happen to be Christians. All these police officers killing black people happen to be Christians, man. What did Donald Trump do? You see when he cleared the path to go and pose with the Bible? All of those kind of things, man. Read on.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
And we've been hearing on the news of wars. We've been hearing on the news of wars, rumors of wars. We've been hearing about Russia, America, all these countries, China, North Korea, Great Britain, Germany. We've been hearing about wars and rumors of wars. Like these countries, they'll start off something, you think, all right, then we're going into World War III. Then they stop. That's a rumor of it. And then when they do finally go do what they're doing, they're going to go to like Iran, Iraq, Israel, all of them countries, man. We're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. Every time you put on the news, you'll see, oh, this country let off an airstrike here. This country said they're going to retaliate. This country said they're going to do this. These are the wars and the rumors of wars. Go ahead.
See that ye be not troubled.
And so see that ye be not
all
troubled.
these things.
And this is why we don't need to march, man. All these things is going to happen. It says, see that ye be not troubled. We do the work of the Lord. Man. We do what the Lord tells us to do. Whereas what everybody else is troubled, you got black men singing, oh, I'm getting killed by the singing, how They don't want to be killed by the police no more. Like, what is singing gonna do, man? Singing ain't gonna stop a police officer from killing you, man. It's like an animal. It's like you going into a lion's den and singing to the animal, thinking this is a cartoon where the song's gonna put the lion to sleep and listen. You think this is a movie like Beauty and the Beast where this beast is gonna fall in love with you and it's not gonna harm you no more? Listen, man, that's a cartoon, man. That's a cartoon and it's not real life. Real life is devil just wants to kill you, man. Go ahead.
See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass.
All these things must come to pass. All these wars and rumors of wars have to come to pass. These things have to happen, man. Don't think things are just going to be sweet and then we're just going to transition into our kingdom. Nah, man, some horrible things have to come to pass. And you have to separate from this devil in order for these things to come to pass.
That's right.
That's what you need to do, man. But by you staying with him, we're going to be in this place longer, man. By you joining him, guess what? By you loving him, more black people is going to have to die to show why you shouldn't love him, man. By you not separating from him, more black people have to go to jail, man. So you should realize why you should separate from him. The more you love him, more of your sons have to go to jail to realize why you shouldn't love him, man. All these things taking place is just proof why you shouldn't love him. All these things taking place is proof why you need to separate from him and not join the system and not be a drug dealer like he's a drug dealer and all of those things.
That's right.
What we want to do is every nation loves your culture, but they don't love you. Like you get the two mixed up. Because they love your culture, that means they love you. No, man. Listen, they love your culture so much that at the club, you can't even get in the club, but they're playing your music in the club, man. They're playing your black artists in the club, and you can't even get in the club. Being black, another thing being black, man, like being black, 6 black men can't stand in the queue together to get in the club. We have to split up, man, in groups to get in, because they say, oh, we're a gang. Whereas the white men, 50 of them can get in the club, man. That's what racism is, man. Racism is you trying to get into a club, and every black man knows this. Let's not all go in a group because we're not going to get in. Whereas these devils, they can go in a group, man, and they're all going to get in. And why is the club popping? Why? Because they're playing your music in there. Why? Because it's got your vibes in there. The DJ is spinning your tracks in there. If we removed ourselves from this place, guess what? These clubs would be useless, man. They would just have karaoke. Everything would be like karaoke, man. These clubs is only popping because black people give it culture. Sports is only popping because black people play sports. Just imagine if every black footballer said, you know what, I don't want to play football no more. Imagine if every black MMA fighter said, I don't want to fight no more. If every black golfer said, I'm not going to play golf no more. If every black track and field runner said, I'm not going to run on the track no more. Listen, man, that 100 meters final would have nobody in there, man. The problem quit track and field altogether, man. Listen, and you know how I know? Because the whole world tunes in to watch this track and field. Whereas when you see canoeing, nobody don't name me one canoeing star. Commentators, name me one canoeing star. Just one. I know. Name one of them white men that rowed the boat. Name one of them.
Oh, no, any man. Columbus, man.
Exactly, Columbus. The greatest row of all time. Now, if you say to you, name me 2 track and field stars, man, that's too easy. Now, if you say to you, you know what? Name me 5 great black rappers. You can name 5. If I say name 5 white ones, all you're going to say is Eminem. And Eminem ain't even a great rapper. Eminem's garbage, man. All it is just that he's pro black culture, and because white people can't rap, when people find one that can string a sentence together, people put them on a pedestal. But being black, you don't get put on a pedestal. You know why? Because black people are supposed to be able to rap, man.
That's right.
Using both breaking world records, it's not that great of a deal. Why? Because black people break world records, man. Pele being the greatest footballer ever, it's not that much of a shock because black people are meant to be the greatest footballer ever. Go ahead.
That's true. Whenever you get a white girl that can move her waist a little bit, it was like, oh, God, she can dance for a white girl. Like, what to do, man? She just that all that was.
Just trying to get big up Adele. Just trying to big up Adele as all, yeah. Adele's a great singer and blah, 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 blah. Just trying to big up Adele. Oh, Adele's a great singer and this and that. Why? Because she's a white girl that can sing, whereas Beyonce, she's been singing for years, so she don't need to get a big up, man. Alicia Keys, she don't need to get a big up. Rihanna, listen, we've got the best of everything, and our oppressor loves our culture, but he hates us, and people get the two mixed up. Now, when you watch sports, look in the crowd, and you'll see that it's a ton of Edomites who's wild at what you can do. Like, they're surprised that Usain Bolt can run so fast. Listen, man, imagine if Usain Bolt wasn't running on track and field and he was in here doing what he needs to do, man. Imagine when these race riots kick off, man. Imagine what Usain Bolt could be doing for his nation with his speed, man. Imagine what black people do for their nation. Instead, what? White people got him running on the track in under 10 seconds. Got him running on the track.
Oh, for the food, yeah?
Oh, all of those kind of things. Read on.
For all, let me read. See that ye be not troubled. For all, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Go ahead.
God. For nations shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
You see that right now? Nations is rising against nations. Kingdom against kingdom, man. Rulerships against rulerships. Races against races, man. Nation rising against nation, man. And this nation of devils have been rising up against us forever, man. They've been killing us forever. I read on.
And there shall be famines and pestilence and
listen,
earthquakes.
Pestilence and listen, diseases. We got coronavirus, and in the midst of the coronavirus, man. In the midst of the coronavirus, you got what? Cops killing blacks, man. Listen, everybody kills black people, man. You got whites killing blacks. You got cops killing blacks. Listen, man, everybody kills black people, man. Everybody. And it happens so much that it seems like it's the norm. It happens so much that people see it as normal. And then when you say Black Lives Matter, what do they say? All lives matter. Instead of saying Black Lives Matter, we need to join together and show each other that Black Lives Matter.
Look,
go ahead.
That's right.
That's so racist. That's like my grandma died in St. So my girl died too.
Exactly. It's insensitive, man. All lives matter. And then now they got a George Floyd challenge, man, where they're putting their knee on someone's head. You seen it? They're putting their knee on someone's head and they're smiling. Now the thing is this, man. Our oppressor, man, we need to come and serve God so God can bring him down. You know, he also mocked us. The Egyptians mocked us, man. And guess what? They cried a great cry in the end, man. They cried one of the greatest cries in the end. They was harming us and killing us like this devil is. And what did the Lord do? The Lord was so poetic with it, man. The Lord killed their firstborn, man. The Lord killed all of their firstborn, they killed their cattle. Now, before this happened, we would have never thought that the Lord would have done that. Listen, the Lord knows how to get justice, man.
That's right.
No justice, no peace ain't gonna bring you justice. The Lord got us justice in Egypt by what? The firstborn of every Egyptian crying. So much that what happened, they told us, get out of the land. And before we got out of the land, we took some gold, took some horses and whatnot. Obviously, not the firstborn, they would have been dead, the Moses. We took whatever, man. We spoiled the Egyptians. That's what we need to do, man. Serve God, and God will give us justice in a way that we can only dream of, man. The Lord killed all of the firstborn, man. That must have been a beautiful sight to see. Listen, this devil's killing our children right now.
That's right.
The Egyptians was also harmless and killing us. And what did the Lord do? Kill their firstborn. Usually your firstborn is what? Your best and your favorite. Usually you got a soft spot for your firstborn. Guess what? The Lord took them where it hurt, man. The Lord took away what they loved, and that was their firstborn. So don't give me all of this God loves everybody. If God loved everybody, if God loved everybody, he wouldn't have killed the firstborn of every Egyptian. You people that say there's good white people, okay, that wasn't the good Egyptians.
That's right.
Whether good Egyptian, bad Egyptian, they all had the firstborn, all had to die, man. Why? Because the Lord loves his people. The Lord ain't all loving like you. Now, obviously, you give your love to everybody. The Lord, he don't do that, man. Read on.
God. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places.
Yeah, what verse?
All these are the beginning.
Yeah, all these are the beginning of sorrows. But drop that. Give me Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8. All these are the beginning of
Jeremiah
sorrows.
28:8.
Jeremiah 28 and 8.
God.
Like, you thinking this place is gonna get better? It ain't gonna get better, man. You thinking no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Listen, man, your pastor's in La La Land, man. He's talking about peace when we've been at war for as long as we know. Listen, speak to the oldest black person you know. Speak to the oldest black person you know, who's probably like what, 101, 102. Ask them, has this man ever been kind to them? They're gonna tell you no, man. Ask them, have they ever seen justice? They're gonna say no, man. So imagine this person's 100 years old and they ain't seen justice in their 100 years. What makes you think that you're gonna see justice, man? Ask your great-grandparents, your grandparents, your parents. So how much marches have we done? So much marches and nothing changes. Let's try a new way. Read on.
That's right. God. Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied of both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war. And
the prophets of old prophesied what? The prophets before him and of old prophesied of many kingdoms, man. The prophets of old been prophesying that what? The devil's never going to love you, man. The prophets of old been prophesying that, and he still don't love you in what? 2020. He still don't love you in 2020. So what makes you think he's ever going to love you? He's never going to love you, man. That's right. I mean, it might break your heart, and this is why when our people see our oppressor making mockery of them, talking about all lives matter, black people get upset and want to argue and cry and scream and go back and forth. When the truth is, when you understand this devil that you're dealing with, nothing that he does will surprise you, man. Him, I mean, he's supposed to hate you. Same way he hates you, hate him the same way, man. I'm not saying go advocate any violence to him. I'm saying you hate him. And by you hating him, you do what? Come and serve God, man. You hate him so much that you never not put another spliff in your mouth again, man. You hate him so much that you never be a homosexual, man. You hate him so much that what, man? You raise them kids, man. You hate him that much, man. You do that, man. Do all those things, man. Teach your kids, don't ever lie down with them devils. Go ahead.
God. And against great kingdoms of war.
Now, everybody looks at Great Britain like Great Britain's so great, man. We be prophesying against Great Britain, man. We be prophesying against the United Kingdom. And everyone looks at us and says, how can you say those things? If you don't like the country, why don't you go home? You know how much times I've heard that one? If you don't like the country, why don't you go home? Listen, man, these devils would never let us go home. Because if we did, this country would fall. This country would crumble. We carrying this country on our backs, man. It's us that's carrying this country, that's built up this country. Without us, England would have been nothing. And you know how you know? Look at all the countries where the children of Israel are, man. Them countries happen to be the richest countries in the world. Why? Because it's built on the back of. It's because it's built on the back of us, man. How come these Ethiopian countries and Tanzania and them countries are quite poor? Why? Because we ain't there. That's why, man. We ain't there in boat, man. That's why there's flies everywhere, and they're still living in the Stone Age, like whatnot. Why they got no culture there? Why they all of those things, man. Yeah, go ahead.
That's the only African. Because Nigeria only got 100 million. That's one country, that whole continent, and they couldn't produce like 1 2-pack, not one used to motor, nothing.
Exactly. And their population is like, I believe it's 200 million, right? Their population is 200 million, and Jamaica's population is what, 3 million? 2 million. And listen, man, Jamaica's produced more stars than Nigeria could ever produce. Listen, man, you tell me one Nigerian or Ghanaian sprinter, man,
Right.
Listen, all them African countries, that's the last guy that used to run the marathon. Remember that one used to run the marathon? That's all they got. I can't remember his name.
Gabriel, is it Gabriel?
His name was something Selassie.
Gabriel Selassie, I believe, I think.
What was his name again?
Gabriel. I think it's Gabriel Selassie, if I'm not mistaken.
Something along the lines.
Yeah.
That's the only one that you would even know out of them. But with them, they got no talent, man. Like, all the talent comes from us, and everything that people do comes from us. Listen,
right.
Man, even the British, nowhere to rely, the British learned how to fight in World War I from us. They learned our skills, and listen, it's in history books, man.
Right.
How the British used to fight, because once upon a time, when the British was at war with us in the Caribbean, the way we used to kill them, we had some skills. So you see all of these things that people do in the shooting, when they drop on the floor and roll around, and they drop on the floor and shoot like that. That came from us, man. What we used to stand in the middle and shoot and not move. That's nowhere to rely. And then they lost so much casualties in World War I that they learned what? Guerrilla warfare from us, man. Because that's what we was doing. It's noted that black people in the Caribbean used to roll around on the floor with the guns and shoot and move out of the way. It's noted that they got it from us, that we used to ambush them, man. We used to camouflage in the bushes. We used to set traps and all these things.
Right.
We used to set traps, and what we used to do is let them shoot at us. Then we used to run away, and then we'd have people further back. They would run and chase us. We would ambush them, man. Listen, man. And they had all the weapons. We hardly had any weapons. They had all the weapons, and back then they called it was it powder smoke? They called it powder smoke. They had all of those things. We didn't have none of that, but we were still whooping there behind, man. Whooping there behind so much that what? They used to try and negotiate with us. They used to try and cut deals with us. They used to try and befriend us. And you know these devils, they befriend you, and then what happens? They kill you, man. And then what happened?
Right.
You know what they had to do to try and take some of us down? They got some Salat niggas, yeah, they got some Salat niggas to join their military, and that's what they're doing today. This is why they want Salat niggas to join the police force, because they know by having us join them, they can learn our tactics, man. That's what they used to do. Listen, man, and all of these things is documented. Read on.
Read on, Slakia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Read on. Khan says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and evil and of pestilence.
The prophets of God, they're real revolutionists, man.
That's right.
This is why what? They want to shut us down, man. They want all of us to stop speaking and whatnot. They want us to stop speaking because they know if they let us speak long enough, we're going to fix our condition and change black people, man. They don't want that. They would rather you peaceful protest and put up a black screen. Because they know that's not harmful. That's not harmful to them. What we do is harmful to them, man. You know why? Because cigarettes won't sell no more. Drugs won't sell no more. Which means police will be out of a job. Your lawyer can't drive around in that Mercedes because we ain't paying him for lawyer fees. Prison shut down. All of those things. The child support office would close down because our women would start putting men in child support. This country would be crippled, man. Imagine that. All those people that work in child support would be out of a job. All those people that work for the police force would be out of a job. All those people that work in the courts would be out of a job. Probation officers out of a job.
That's right.
All these jobs is where people have what? People with them jobs have expensive cars and big houses based off the crime that we commit. Now, that's real revolutionary, man. When you change for the better, man. When you join your own people and stop joining your oppressor. Read on. Right.
Khan. The prophets which prophesied of peace, when the word of prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord has truly sent him.
The Bible says, when the prophet prophesies of peace, when that peace comes, then will it be known. Your pastor's been prophesying of peace, man. and peace ain't come, man.
That's right.
Peace hasn't come.
That's right.
So you can't call your pastor no prophet. He's prophesying of good times, man. He's prophesying of what? Little white boys and black boys holding hands, man. That's never gonna happen.
God.
Anybody tell me that is a false prophet, man? White boys ain't holding hands with black boys, man. White boys is putting their knees on black boys' necks.
That's right.
White boys is shooting black boys, man. That's what's happening. They ain't holding hands with no black boys, man. That's a homosexual dream that you have right there, man. That's the gayest dream. Black people only together with white people. I think if that's your dream, I think you need to read Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13. I think you need to start. I think you need to read that repeatedly until you stop having them gay dreams, man. Until you and you need to read Romans, the first chapter is Romans 1 and 26. I think you need to read Romans chapter 1 and 26 because that's a gay dream, man. 26. Yeah. White men holding hands. Well, you want to hold any white man's hand? Holding hands, you know. I see black boys and white boys holding hands. That's the gayest dream you could ever have, man. Drop that and give me Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2.
Go another one. Come by, yeah.
That's what they want to sing and dance, and everyone holding hands and listen, man. All these nations don't want to hold your hand. They want your money, though. That's all they want.
That's right.
They want your money, and you give them all your love. Now, once they realize you take your love away from them, it hurts them, man. And this is why they come up to us at camp and they're so upset that we don't love them, man. They're so upset that we don't love everybody. Like, you think little black screens are a threat. That's not a threat, man. We are a threat to them, man. We the only threat to white society, man. White society is afraid of us, man. And the Lord's with us also, man. Read on.
Another one. Chapter 20, verse 22. A wise man calleth the city of the mighty and causeth down Slakia. 22, Proverbs 21, 22, that.
Now, 29 verse 2.
Slakia.
Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2.
Oh, 29 2, can. 29 verse 2. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2.
Read that to me.
M-O-U-R.
Oh.
Can. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Now, when the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice. Now, we ain't rejoicing right now because what? The righteous ain't in authority, man. How can this man be righteous when he's shooting you for no reason, man? How can this man be righteous when he's putting his when he's putting his knee on your neck and he's saying you can't breathe? Common sense is when you're in pain, you're gonna move around to stop the pain, and they see that as you resisting, which means what? Are we just meant to lie down and die? Read on.
Can. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
And the people are doing what? Mourning? I mean, how do you not expect us to mourn? We're being killed left, right, and center, man. We dying, man.
That's
also
right.
Read that definition for me. I'm just gonna have Officer Crawford read the definition of mourn for me.
Mourn, the expression of sorrow for someone's death.
No, there's a next definition as well. And it says the expression of sorrow for someone's death, man. And we mourning why? Because we see black people's death every single day, man. We see black people die every single day. So when the wicked bearer of rule, the people mourn. The people are mourning. Why? Because they're seeing black people die, man. That's why we're mourning. We've seen our people die left, right, and center. Of course we're going to be mourning. And then obviously black people don't know the right way to go about it. So obviously, let's just destroy everything. Anyone that was there.
To feel or show sorrow for the death of someone.
Listen, man. We're mourning, man. Because the wicked is ruling. If the righteous was ruling, we wouldn't have to mourn. Why? Because we wouldn't see black men with a knee on their neck, man.
That's right.
We wouldn't see black men getting shot to death. We wouldn't see what? Rashawn Charles getting a police officer sticking his hand down his throat, man. We wouldn't see that, man. I'm sure we marched for Rashawn Charles as well, right? We marched for Rashawn Charles. We marched him right for the Mark Duggan. And nothing's changed, man. Tell read that for me one more time.
Another one, Khan. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
It says, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Give me Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5.
To the back of the protest.
See, this is what I'm saying. You got homosexuals at these protests as well, man. Listen, man, if you're a black man that's a homosexual, you hate black people too, man.
That's right.
Because if you love black people,
Right.
you're going to make more black people, man.
That's right.
Why are you being a homosexual? You're the reason why this race is growing, man. Because you hate black people, man. You're in line with that cop, man. You and him are the same, man. You both hate black people alike, man. That's the lifestyle that you're in. And this is the thing, man. At these,
Zechariah 1.
11 and verse 5.
11:2. Go on.
11 and verse 5.
Let's go to the marches, sorry. Let's go to the marches. I don't think at these marches, when black is homosexual.
What was it, man?
Homosexual guy at the marches.
Oh, yeah, there was there's been these homosexual guys at the marches, and also, man, they got women in the marches twerking in front of the police, isn't it? Like, this is the thing. How do you expect them to take you serious if when black people are like, this is the answer? Like, how do you expect them to take you serious? Right. You're twerking like you wasn't twerking for likes 2 days before a black man died on Instagram. Like you're not twerking every other day. Like, what are you doing different now than you was doing a week ago? You sing, dance, hold the sign, twerk. It's childish, man. It ain't gonna work. Read on.
So, Canada on. Verse 5. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Whose possessors slay them. Whose possessors slay them, man? Our possessors slay us and hold themselves not guilty. Like, right. Killing a black man is normal to them. Killing a black man, it's not a crime to them. Killing a black man is just something you do. You're bored, you want to hurt someone, let's just kill a black man. That's what happened, man. Listen, you probably don't even know this, but in the Caribbean, once our oppressor brought indentured servants over, indentured servants is what? Indentured servants is people who either work between 3 to 5 years, you put them on like a little contract, and they're a colony of yours. What would happen is, the white man would look at other races as lower than him and as scum as the earth, and he would bring them over as indentured servants, but they were still higher than you. Them indentured servants were still looked at as better than you. So what them indentured servants used to do for brownie points was kill you, man. Them indentured servants used to kill you. And these are the same people that you want us to love, which lets you know that everybody on the bottom of the face of the earth thinks they're better than you, man. Even the scum of the earth thinks they're better than black people. So we ain't supposed to join nobody. Read on.
Another one, Khan. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say.
We've been trying to march and stop racism from Stephen Lawrence, man. Stephen Lawrence died in what, 1993? That's 17 years ago, man. And guess what? We tried again with Mark Duggan in 2010, Rashawn Charles in 2017, and we're doing it again, man. You would have thought Stephen Lawrence, 1993, you would have thought, okay then, that's 17 years ago, surely this devil's changed. No, he hasn't, man. He ain't changed from 17 years ago. He ain't changed from 70 AD, man. He ain't changed from Genesis the 4th chapter. That's the one with Cain, right?
God.
This is the 4th chapter. That's the one with Cain. Right? So you say that, man?
17 years. That's 27 years, man.
No. Yeah, come on, 27 years. So okay. Even longer. 27 years. I try to give my pastor in 17 years. This devil ain't changed in 27 years, man. Stephen Lawrence was how old? 18, right? He was 18 at the time they chased him and killed him. Why? Because he's black, man. And you mean to say we should love these people? Listen, man. I've been at war with them from the death of Stephen Lawrence, man.
That's right.
I've understood this man's been the devil from them, man. killed that armed black boy, man. That was just living in London trying to get by. And he ain't the only one that was killed. The thing is this, tons of black people died, but now people record it. That's all it is. Like once upon a time, black people was dying without the internet. Black people was dying when there was no phones, when there was no Snapchat, when there was no social media. We was just dying, and these police officers and these white men would get away with it because what? There's no proof, man. They'll get away with it. Now we have the evidence for the whole world to see. Whereas with George Floyd in America, because we're in England, we wouldn't have seen it if there was no phones. We wouldn't even know about it. Because there's phones, we see all of these things, man. And see all of these things to make us separate from these devils, man. Give me a Romans 10 and 1.
Look here. Shall I finish that up? This one up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Gone. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
And they that sell say, blessed be the Lord, man. They sold us and made money, man.
Right.
They said, blessed be the Lord. And once slavery got abolished, so-called abolished, them slave masters was ready to kick up and start a riot, man. And they had to get paid like what? Was it like 2 billion? They had to get paid like 2 billion for loss of slaves. They got paid for loss of slaves. What did the slaves get? All the slaves got was, don't worry, you don't need nothing, you got your freedom. You got no reparations, no money. They just got sent out so-called free. Meanwhile, when they got sent out, the still was getting killed by our oppressor. Meanwhile, once the so-called abolished slavery, this is in the 1800s. What they did is they brought East Indians. They brought East Indians from a whole other continent. They brought the Caribbean is on the continent of North America. So they brought these East Indians from Asia, whole other continent. Instead of giving black people the jobs, black people have been picking cotton for free. What this devil could have said is, you know what? I'll pay you to pick cotton. I'll pay you to cut cane. I'll pay you to do all this. What did this devil do? Just struck the black people and said, all right, then you get to go out. And they brought indentured servants over and paid them to cut the sugar cane, man. Pick the cotton. Paid them to do it. Meanwhile, you had to do it for free. And then now, when you look at Jamaica, who runs Jamaica now? These East Indians, man. And the Chinese. Now, a country where you was there before all these people that are there now, they run the country and they have you working in their hotels for change. Now, they treat black people like black people as indentured servants, man. These Chinese and East Indians treat you like you're the indentured servant. So now they pay you pennies. And this is why, when Christ returns, man, they have to die too, man. Ain't going to be no such thing as only the white man oppresses us. Listen, man. Them Chinese is oppressing us as well.
That's right.
Them East Indians is oppressing us as well. So they have to die too, man. They're making you work for pennies. They're making you work for pennies. And we happy to do it. And we'd be like, wow, I can't be mad at him because I wouldn't have a job if it weren't for him. Listen, man. We would have the whole world, man. It's like you have the whole cake and the man takes the cake and gives you a slice of the cake back. And you're saying, well, I can't be mad at him because he gave me a slice of cake. It was your cake in the beginning, man.
Right.
The whole world was your cake in the beginning, man. These devils take it and give you a little slice and then you love them. And you think you made progress. And you think, you know what? I can't join the I.S.U.P.K because my boss won't like it. You need to join the I.S.U.P.K so your boss doesn't like it, man. Make your boss not like it, man. Make your boss understand that he's the devil, man. That's what you do.
Right.
Make your boss understand that, man. Obviously, I'm not saying go to work and tell him because you're going to get fired and then you're going to be saying, oh, obviously there's a time and a place, man. The Bible says, why is the serpent and harmless as a dove, man? It don't mean you must go to your job with a Bible like this talking about, that's right, read. No, man, don't do that at your job. You go to your job, you do your work and go home. But understand, you separate from these nations, man. Drop that, give me a Romans 10:1.
I don't want. I was finishing it up. Let me finish it then. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
So it says, and they, Salakia, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pitied them not.
Now listen, man. The shepherd is what? A man who leads the sheep. A shepherd is what? The man who leads the sheep. Your pastor is meant to be a shepherd, and he pities you not. As long as he's rich, He don't care. He said their own shepherds pitied them not. Martin Luther King was your shepherd that pitied you not, man. He didn't care about you.
Right.
He just wanted to have sex with white women and tell them call him a nigger, man. Martin Luther King liked to have sex with white women and tell them call him a nigger, man. Like he liked. Listen, he was a homosexual, man. Like it was like a turn on for him. Like it was like a turn on for him telling them call me a nigger. Listen, man. And what would happen the next day? He would come out in the public. He would come out in the public and he would lie and make it like he's for black people and he loves black people. Then later on at night, he's buying hoes, talking about call me a nigger. It was one of the worst things to happen to black people, man. So much that even in the UK they talk about Martin Luther King. So much that now when we say Martin Luther King was the worst thing to happen to black people. Martin Luther King and white Jesus are similar, man. Them two are both the same, man. People look at us like we the crazy ones.
That's right.
Drop that, give me a Romans 10:1.
God. Romans chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer for Israel is that they might be saved.
Is that the right thing, man? Paul was like, you know what? My heart's desire, man. I want this strongly. I pray that Israel might be saved. Go ahead.
Canada and Khan. For I bear I bear them record. They have the zeal of, but not according to knowledge.
You black people that are upset, you have a zeal of blackness. You have a zeal for wanting the right thing. You have a zeal of wanting justice, but not according to what?
But not according to knowledge.
Not according to knowledge, man. We've got a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. No justice, no peace. It's you having a zeal, but not according to knowledge, man. You going out there thinking you're going to beg them to stop killing you. It's you having a zeal, but not according to knowledge. Like, you know what you need? You need to come in here,
That's
man.
right.
And we'll tell you how to do it, man. That's what we'll do. We'll tell you
Salaki
how to.
one.
Go ahead.
Right. Salaki other one. Let me just chime out and come back in.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, because I can't hear you. It's gone low. And time someone. Let me just chime out and come back in.
All right, no sir.
Switch it up.
Like I said again.
Switch it up.
Switch up. Romans 10:1. When it comes back in, you have to press it again.
Yeah, you see. We're making noise. Look. What was in our
10:1.
There you go.
Yeah, it's coming back in. What's it sounding like now?
God, I'm back now. Yeah.
Is it sounding too loud now?
Yeah, Tawab, Khan.
Yeah, give me so I can pull up the definition of a revolutionary. Let's see what a revolutionary is. Let's see putting up a black screen is a revolutionary, a revolutionist. Let's see the definition of it. I need to see the definition of it.
Revolutionary.
Revolutionary. Because that's what. Listen. So women that hate black men, I've seen them posting the Black Lives Matter. I was like, oh gosh, they're posting the black screen, talking about how much the. And then the thing is this, man, don't give me that BS. Every time a black man gets killed, what do women post? Ain't nobody got the black man's back like the black. Well, look how much times have I heard that, man? Listen, man, before all of this child support, deadbeat dads, black men are no good. But it takes a black man to die for people to understand how important a black man is. Listen, man.
Right.
Don't love us while we're still here, man. Love black men while we're still alive. Don't love us when we're dead, when we can't see it.
Right.
You think George Floyd knew that black people loved him this way? I guarantee you he didn't. I guarantee you he didn't. By the way we treat one another. How about we love black people while they're here, man?
Right.
How about we do that? We'll make life a lot easier, man. It means that black men don't have to tuck in their chain and hide their watch from the sea, man. Read on.
Revolutionary.
God, I don't want.
Invoke,
Oh, lucky.
invoking or causing A complete dramatic change.
Causing a what?
Complete dramatic change.
That's what a revolutionary is. Causing a complete dramatic change. Tell me how a black picture changed anything. You're not a revolutionary because you put up a black picture, man. Thinking that you help black people by putting up some black screen. Listen, man.
Right.
All it is a black picture. All you did was put your phone over the camera, or you turned off the light and took a picture in the dark. That's not a revolutionary.
Right.
A revolutionary is someone who makes a dramatic change, man. Commanding General Yohanna is a revolutionary, man.
That's right.
Oscar I.S.U.P.K, a revolutionary.
Right.
Right.
We make dramatic change, man. We make sure black men join our oppressor and sell drugs and kill one another. Give me Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 14.
Salakia, can I read verse 3?
Go ahead.
God. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted.
So we ignorant of God's righteousness. Ignorant what means to not know. We don't know God's righteousness, man. And God's righteousness is what? For us to hate our oppressors, man. God says we can hate our oppressors. I mean, who loves a man that's oppressing them? But Christianity, what? Teaches you to be ignorant of God's righteousness. They teach that you must love this oppressor. They teach you that you must love being a slave. They teach you that you must be a good slave. Listen, man. Nah, man. You don't, man. And you see, what Esau does. Esau's got a narrative that he likes to play, man. If you don't do what he says, he slanders you. So when he does kill you, everyone looks at you like, oh, wow, he was bad anyway. Read on. And then there's 3 types of
God.
After read on. Actually, drop that. Give me Jeremiah. Is there any more of that? Go ahead.
Khan. I've not. One sec, Slakia. Established their own righteousness, have not committed themselves unto the righteousness of God.
Listen, man. We don't want to keep God's laws, man. We don't want to do what God tells us to do in these situations. We don't want to do the righteousness of God. We just want to march. Give me Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 14.
Jeremiah?
Chapter 2 and verse 14.
2:14, Khan.
So I can do me one more favor. Pull up the definition of a rebel.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Khan, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant?
Is Israel a servant?
Is he?
Go ahead.
Khan. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave?
So
why?
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Meaning what? Is Israel put here to serve? Is Israel supposed to be a slave? Listen, man. Us Israelites, we know that we're not meant to be slaves, man.
Right.
And this is what us in the I.S.U.P.K, we the way that we are, because we know in our spirit we're supposed to be nobody's slaves. But Christians, what? They have to be slaves, man. The Lord's asking, is Israel a servant? Is Israel a homeborn slave? Read on.
Khan. Why is he spoiled?
God's saying, all right then. So if Israel's not meant to be a servant and Israel's not meant to be a homeborn slave, why is he spoiled? Meaning, why is he in this situation that he's in? If he's not meant to be a servant and a slave, why is he in the position of a servant and a slave if he's not meant to be?
Right.
Because what? We don't obey God, man. We don't want to keep God's laws. We want to join the man that the Lord told us to separate from. That's why we're in that position.
Right.
Now, there's always been a remnant of black men that refuse to be a homeborn slave, man. There's always been a remnant of black men that refuse to be a slave, that refuse to give into their oppressor. There's some black men that would rather die than be this devil's slave, man. There's some black men that would rather stand up for what's right. There's some black men, there's always been black men that's tried to free black people, man. Whether they have their true understanding or not, there's always been a remnant of black men in time that's tried to free black people, man. And guess who comes up against those black men? Their own people. Those ones who want to be a homeborn slave. Those ones who love being a slave. Whereas people look at us and come up against us because we try to free black people. Read the definition of a rebel for me. We're going to read the definition of a rebel.
A rebel, a person who rises in opposition or armed resistance against an established government or leader.
Now, a rebel is someone who rises against an established government or leader. Now, they call us rebels. Why? Because we don't want to be slaves, man. Esau puts a narrative because in his agenda, his government or whatnot says it's okay for black people to be slaves. When a black man says, I ain't picking you cotton, I ain't going to be a slave, they call him a rebel, man. They call him a rebel and call him everything under the sun. I got to do with us in the I.S.U.P.K, man. They call us rebels, you know why? We ain't going to pick nobody's cotton, man. We ain't going to be nobody's slave, man.
God.
We ain't going to be no man's footstool, man. We ain't going to do nothing for them. So they call us rebels. Why? Because we go against how they want society to run. They want black men to just be good slaves. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 7. They want black men just to be good slaves.
Salakia, Adon. I want to read verse 15. I was waiting till you finish. God. So is Israel a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitants.
Listen, man. Them burning down our cities ain't a new thing, man. These devils burning our stuff ain't a new thing. They've always done it. Even in slavery, man, you would run and they would come and burn down everything you had. One man would run away and they would come and burn down. They would come burn down the whole plantation where you were staying, while the slave part where you were sleeping. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
God. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely what?
Surely oppression makes man mad.
Surely oppression makes a wise man mad. And black man is oppressed, man. And black men are mad.
That's right.
This is why they're burning down things, man.
Right.
This is why they're burning down the cities because they're mad. The tribe, no justice, no peace. You didn't listen, man. The tribe protesting, you didn't listen, man. The tribe speaking peacefully. So now they're burning down the streets, man. Read that one more time.
God. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression makes a wise man mad. Read that one more time.
Another one can. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Say, surely oppression makes a wise man mad. Now I got a book right here called The Form. I'm going to read a passage out of it. Says the Maroons of Jamaica made their demand for freedom long before Simon Bolivar conceived his plan for the liberation of Latin America, before the Haitian Revolution and the French Revolution, before the American War of Independence. And listen, it talks about what? The Haitian Revolution. Read that one more time. Now we're going to go into, let me go into another book. This is called Caribbean Slave Revolts.
Another one can. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
And now, this is what? Now I'm going to read what these oppressed men did. It says 1791. So listen, man. These devils been oppressing niggas before 1791.
That's right.
The British West Indies sent them in, had won notoriety among the British for being a place where vengeful and savage black slaves massacred their masters. Listen, man. Says black slaves massacred their masters. Listen, man. You devils gotta understand that not every black man is gonna put up with your nonsense.
That's right.
Some black men are gonna fight back.
That's right.
Not every black man is gonna bend over and allow you to do whatever you want to him. Some black men are gonna their masters, man.
Right.
Now I'm saying that's the right thing to do. No, it's not, man. But if someone does come to harm you, defend yourself, man. These black men here understood that they ain't gonna be nobody's bitch. Excuse my French, Salakia. They understood they're tired of people's cotton, man.
That's right.
They're tired of seeing black people die. And he says, for being a place where vengeful and savage black slaves massacred their masters, says, raised their properties and spread crippling anxiety among the white population. And listen, man, these white people deserve all this anxiety that they get, man. They deserve it, man. Look what they've been doing to us. You think we ain't got anxiety? You think we ain't stressed and scared for our life? Black men constantly live in fear, man. Black men live with the thought knowing I'm meant to be dead by the time I'm 25. So let me just live wild, take all the drugs in the world, man. That's how black men live, because of what these devils put us through. Let me read some more. Says reports of events in the former French territory often depicted garish images of rebellion. Says white captives hung from trees with hooks through their chains. Listen, man, that sounds good to me, man. But now's not the time to do that. We ain't supposed to harm no one, man. But these men here was oppressed, and oppressed made them mad that they was hanging these devils from trees, man. Imagine this was in 1791, and these devils are still killing us now. Let me read some more. Says men sawn in half. Says men were sawn in half. They oppressed black people so much that these black men saw them in half, man. Says children impaled, man. Man. These black men didn't give a damn about them French babies, man. Them white babies. You know why? Because our person didn't give a damn about our babies.
That's right.
They didn't give a damn about our babies.
That's right.
These black men here wasn't like your Christian pastor that loves everybody. These black men was oppressed, man. And they understood one thing, that what? These babies grow up and turn into killers, man. You think that policeman that killed the brother the other day wasn't a baby one day? You think the policeman that killed the brother one day wasn't drinking breast milk and crying and learning to crawl and learning to pick up? Listen, man. These brothers here understood that. It says hundreds of plantations ablaze, meaning what? Black men been burning down plantations for time, man. These things that black men is burning down right now. People saying, "Oh, you're burning down your community." Yeah, our community. Listen, man. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Listen, the things that they're burning that were down is their plantation, man. Same like what I was doing back in the day. This says 20,000 Negroes broke into the city and with the torch in one hand and the sword in the other, spread slaughter and devastation around the Europeans. The Europeans found themselves surrounded by the vengeance which had been accumulating for centuries. Listen, man, this race war has been accumulating for centuries, man. These oppressors have been bugging us for centuries. And then now black people are what? Tired of it, man. Oppressed. Want to fight back, ready to fight back. They're making out like, oh, the black people are just vile animals and vile, not realizing these black men who've been oppressed have been provoked, man. They've been provoked. That's why they're doing it. It says, well, which has been accumulated for centuries in the African heart. Now, obviously, we know these people ain't African. These are the Haitians, but obviously, they're going to say Africans because going to like us and make us believe we're African because that's where they got us from. They took us from West Africa, so that's where it says that. It says, neither age nor sex was spared, meaning what? These brothers here didn't give a damn about Becky and Karen, man. They didn't care about Becky and Karen and Madeline McCann and all this nonsense. They seen it as, you know what? They're oppressing us. And they wiped them out, man. Says the young were cut down in trying to defend their homes. And what happens? These devils are trying to defend their shops in the streets right now, man. What's happening? That man is manhandling them, man. Listen, what? And the thing is this: don't let these oppressors make out like the innocent, because they've been chasing black people with swords and with knives and been trying to harm them. So what do you think these black people are going to do? Let you harm them? Nah, man. Like the Pope says, man, we ain't our ancestors, man. We ain't our ancestors who's going to let you walk all over us. This
That's
is 2000, man. You ain't going to put your hand on us and you're not going to retaliate, man. It says the age in churches where they had fled to implore protection. Listen, man. These white folks ran to the church for protection. These Haitians went in there and took them out of them churches, man. And he says the finest city of the West Indies was reduced to ashes. Its splendid churches, its stately places were wrapped in flames. 30,000 human beings perished in the massacre. Listen, man. And he says these devils have it coming for centuries. But we need to wait on Christ in the Most High, man. And millions of them
That's
will
right.
die. Millions of them will die. And we won't ever be in captivity again, man. This is our last captivity.
That's right.
Read that precept for me that you're holding one more time.
Kanaran Khan. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
And these brothers did that because what? They was oppressed, man. That's why they did that. They was oppressed. These brothers is writing right now because what? Their voice ain't being heard and they're oppressed. So what? They have to do something to get their point across, man. And this is what they're doing to get their point across. Because nobody hears them and black people are dying and we're sick of it, man. We're sick of black people dying.
Kanaran Khan. And a gift the strong heart.
Say that again.
Excuse me. And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And this is what happens, man. You'll be oppressed. And this man gives you a gift like a reward. And what does that do?
Right.
It eases your anger. It makes you not want to be angry no more. It makes you say, you know what, he gave me a job, I can't be mad at him. It makes you say, he gave me a job in the police force, I can't be mad at him. That's what it makes you say, man. A gift destroys the heart. For time's sake, drop that Zephaniah chapter 2. Is there anyone that is about it?
That's it.
Alright, give me Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
God. Chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
The Bible says what?
Gather together.
The Bible
Gather
says,
yourselves together.
Now, we need to gather together, you know why? Because there's race wars taking place, man. It's race against race.
Right.
If we start being individuals, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in. If we came together, they couldn't kill us the way they do because we would be all together. The Bible says, gather yourselves together, man.
Right.
All of us, black and Hispanics, need to gather together and we can have a nation, man. And then guess what?
That's
People
right.
have to deal with us correctly. People have to deal with us correctly, man. Read that one more time.
Right. Another one, Khan. Gather yourselves together.
The Bible says, gather yourselves together. Go ahead.
Gather together, O nation, not desired.
It says, gather together, O nation, not desired. We are a nation, not desired. So how about we gather together and desire one another? That's right. But also,
that's right.
There's three types of black men in this world. Now, I'm going to read it. This is in the book. It says, Yassi and the Labour's reports confirm that we're three distinct groups amongst the Africans in Jamaica, really known as Israelites. It says the free men who fought with the Spanish Jamaicans as men defending their homeland. So now, what you need to realize is there's some black people who think that they're free men. There's some black people who think that they're free, and there's some black people who think all lives matter. There's some black people who think surely it's not a race thing. It comes down to black people being disrespectful and whatnot. That's one type of black man. It says Spanish Jamaicans as men defending their homeland against attack. Now this was at the time when the Spanish used to run the Caribbean. You had what? Jamaicans that used to fight for the Spanish, man. Like what? Like now you got what? Our brothers fighting for the white man. Little Wayne made a comment saying it's black people's fault. Listen, man.
Right.
Everyone is Little Wayne and these people, man, and the artists. They believe that they've got part in this country. They believe that what? They're British and the British love them. So they fight for this country as a free man, believing that they're free. And then also, there's a next passage verse where it says the second type of black man is the slaves who remained loyal to their Spanish masters. Now, the second type of black man is what? The slaves who remain loyal to their slave masters. Who's that?
Right.
Grandma, man. Your grandma's the slave who remains loyal to her slave master, man. These Christian, the man in the Christian church is the black man who's a slave that remains loyal to his slave master, man. And that kind of man will do what?
That's right.
That kind of man will sell you out, man. That kind of man loves his slave master so much that he don't want to gather together with his brothers, man. And then also, this type of man, it says, this is the last type of man, and it says, and the runaways and hunters who took to the bush after the invasion and set up settlements under their own chiefs. Listen, man, I know which kind of black man I am out of the three.
That's right.
I'm one of them black men that and set up under my own chiefs, man. That's the kind of black man I am.
Okay.
And the kind of black man you men in the Christian church are is the one who stays loyalty slave masters. That's who these Christian church people are. And the GOCC is the first one, believe it or not, apart in England. These fake Israelites are the first one. In the I.S.U.P.K, we those ones that separate and set up under our own chiefs. Read Zephaniah chapter 2 and 1 again for me.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired.
God says, gather together, O nation, not desired, man. We that nation not desired that need to gather together. Now, the pastor ain't gonna want to gather with us. Why? Because like it said in the last part of the book we just read, he's loyal to his slave master, man. He's loyal to his slave master. So he ain't gonna gather with us. He ain't gonna come back here because he's loyal to his slave master. Read on.
Before the decree break forth, before the day pass as a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Listen,
before the day of the Lord's anger.
Listen, man. The Lord's fierce anger is going to come upon the Christian pastor that don't want to gather with us. It's going to come upon the people that want to love their slave masters. This is another part of the book. It says, according to slave owners and slave buyers of the time, the Caramantes, now the Caramantes, these was Israelites that was that they got from Ghana, who's from the tribe of Benjamin. We used to call them the Caramantes and so forth. The Caramantes were strong, bellicose, and virile. Almost every slave revolt was inspired or led by Caramantes. Now these strong black brothers did what? Led slave revolts back in the days, man. And that was the right thing to do because they was tired of being slaves. They was tired of being slaves, man. They led slave revolts. They didn't want to pick cotton no more. Tired of being oppressed. They didn't want to wake up and pick cotton every single day. It says, and the planters were divided between admiration of their superior strength and activity and apprehension of their fierceness. So it lets you know that what these devils was they admired the strength, admired what you could do, but then they was also afraid at the same time. Like these people scared to death of me, man. They're scared to death of black people. They know they put them guns down. They can never hang with us, man. They know if we say let's put them up, they can't never hang with us, man. So what we do, they have to kill us, man. Let me read the next part of the book. It says the first big recorded slave outbreak under the British took place in 1684 and was followed by another in 1686. It was not until 1690, however, 2 years before the destruction of Port Royal by an earthquake, that a really dangerous insurrection occurred. It took place on Sutton's estate near Chapelton in the parish of Corrington and is believed to have been caused by brutal treatment. Now listen, this revolt took place, why? Because of brutal treatment. And black people is revolting right now for the same thing, brutal treatment, man. Which means what? They've been treating black people from 1690, man. They've been filthily treating black people for what? Years on top of years on top of years, like over 300, 400 years, man. Black people have been revolting against their slave master. And we're still revolting against our slave master in 2020. Says, and it's believed to have been caused by brutal treatment. The slaves killed the man in charge and seized the arms and ammunition with which most estates were well supplied. The next day they were overwhelmed and their ringleaders captured and executed. So now they started a revolt, and the next day our ringleaders and chiefs were captured and executed, but a few of them fled and got away. Say some eluded capture, however, and escaped into the Corrington Hills. Among them was a Caramanti boy named Kodjo and his two brothers, Johnny and Akampong. Now Kodjo was what? a brother that they put in charge, and it was a strong brother with war tactics and whatnot.
Right.
With strong war tactics, one of the Maroons, where the Maroons comes from the word what Cimarron, which means black. Depending on who you ask, they'll tell you it means different things. Depending on which country, they'll tell you it means different things. So says along with other rebel runaways, they formed small gangs and began raiding the farms of outlying settlers. So they formed the white man calls it a gang, but they came together like how we come together in the UPK, man. They came together. They realized one thing. They realized they would be defeated if it was on their own. So they gathered themselves together. Read that scripture one more time from the top.
Right. Canada and Khan. Gather yourselves together. Yea. Gather, O nation, not desired.
This was a nation not desired because what? They was in slavery. This nation was in slavery. And what did they do? Gather themselves together, man. Because they understood if we spend the chance, we need to gather together and put all our skills together. They stopped supporting white people.
That's right.
They stopped picking cotton. They fled into the mountains, into where all the forest is, and lived there. Let me read some more. It says, proof that fugitives from Sutton's had survived was obtained in 1729. So now, 40 years later, they found out that some fugitives that was part of that revolt, that killed that man and took the firearms, they realized, they found out that some of them were still alive. I thought you're supposed to forgive and forget. Not this white man, he didn't forgive and forget. You know what he did? He went there, man, to look for them. Let's read it. Says nearly 40 years after the outbreak, on July 31st of that year, the assembly recorded that Captain Barney Phillip, commander of the regiment in Clarendon and Vere, had empowered Captain Simon Booth to raise and lead a voluntary party for the purpose of pursuing and destroying a group of rebellious Negroes. Now, they call these men rebellious Negroes. They call them rebellious. Why? Because they didn't want to be a slave, man. How are they rebellious? They want to be a slave. I mean, what's wrong with not wanting to pick cotton? What's wrong with loving black people? The same way they call these brothers rebellious in the 1600s and 1700s, they're calling us in the I.S.U.P.K rebellious in 2020, man. Why? Because we don't want to deal with this thing, man. Because we want black people free. We don't want black people to love their oppressor. These brothers back then wanted black people free also. They wanted their freedom. That's right. And what we call them rebellious Negroes. And he puts a narrative in place. He calls them rebellious Negroes, so what? So when he kills them, it's justified. So when he kills them, people can be like, oh, they was rebellious. Same like with us. They call us all of these things. So when police do come and lock us up, people can be like, well, they do shout and do say this and they do this and they blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, we don't break no laws, man. Yeah. They like to spin the narrative and make us rebellious. Because what they want is us to be slaves. They want us to be good slaves that just shut our mouth, pick cotton, and don't speak. That's what they would rather. They'd rather shut our mouth and don't speak. Well, guess what, man? We ain't gonna be slaves no more. We ain't gonna pick your cotton no more, man. The white men don't like the way we speak to him at camp. Listen, man, we go out there and we make him kiss our boots, man. We slaves and we make him kiss our boots, man. And we tell him how we're gonna have him as slaves. How we're gonna whip his back, and then we tell him to bow down and kiss our boots on top of that, man. I guess who comes to the rescue? Black people come to the rescue. Meanwhile, ain't no devil coming to black people's rescue. Ain't no devil coming to the brothers' rescue in America. Ain't no devil coming to Mark Brothers' rescue. But we want to go to everybody else's rescue. We be at camp and we make them kiss our boots. Gonna read on. Who had come into Portland and Clarendon in a clash with these rebels. Booth and his party killed 1 man and 4 women. Now, they clashed with them, these people that they called rebels. And what did they do? They killed 4 women, man. They killed 4 women, man. That's what they did. And you're telling me we must forgive them. Nah, man, we shouldn't. Now, let's read another part of the book. It says, to combat this move, the rebels in Western Jamaica joined forces and chose Cudjoe to lead them. On assuming command, he appointed his 2 brothers, Akompong and Johnny, as captains under him. Meaning what? Even back in the days, man, these brothers that didn't have the truth understood that they needed structure. They understood they needed structure. They understood that they needed rank and order, man. They put Kodjo in charge and put his two brothers as captains underneath him. Says the John William, Fortescue, author of the history of the 17 Lancers, described Kodjo as a man of genius, by whose efforts the various wandering bands were welded into a single body. Now, people that was wandering around doing their own thing, he did what? Gathered them into a single body, man. Read the scripture that you're holding, Zephaniah 2:1 from the top.
Can gather yourselves together. Yes, gather together.
He gathered these brothers together that was wandering around doing their own thing. That's what we're doing in the I.S.U.P.K. We gathering brothers together.
That's right.
Across the military, footing and made twice as formidable as before. The Maroons of the North, original Spanish Maroons, meaning the call of Spanish Maroons. Why? Because these brothers was originally under the Spanish before the British came over and went to war with the Spanish and kicked the Spanish off the land, and then that's why we speak English. Because really, we would have been speaking Spanish because Jamaica was what? A Spanish colony. Under Colombia, the men under it was a Spanish colony where the Taino Indians originally inhabited Jamaica. And then what happened? A ton of them died, and then the Spanish decided, you know what? We need to go and bring more slaves. So they went to what? The west coast of Africa. They went to Ghana and took us, the Israelites, from there because that's where we was hiding out, running there. Took us over here to the slaves. So the slaves under the Spanish. The British realized, you know what? You know how much money we could make off those people? Every nation fights over having us as their slaves. The Spanish are fighting on this island so they could have us as their slaves. Meanwhile, what? Some black people thought the British came to the island to save them, man. Some black people thought the British came to save them. When the truth is, the British came there and they saw how much money they could make. So they sent 5,000 foot soldiers on foot until the Spanish surrendered and left the island. They left the island. What would happen is what? The British set up pirates to plunder the Spanish ships as a warning. And what happened is after the Spanish left, these pirates was like, you know what? These pirates was like, okay, the Spanish have left. So what work are we going to do now? The British said to the pirates, we don't need you no more. So what happened? The pirates started plundering the British ships. And then the British was like, no, you can't have these pirates plundering the British ships. What did the British do after that? The British set up pirate hunters. So this is why the sea was full of madness. You had ships coming in, slave ships coming, you had cargoes coming in with goods, with slaves on. Then you had pirates trying to plunder them ships. Also, some of the pirates would do what? Kidnap some of the slaves, man. And then you would have some black men working as slaves on the pirate ships, man. Because they know black men have skills, so they would put black men on them ships to work. They would plunder a slave ship, take whatever they wanted, and it's even common knowledge that these pirates did what? They used to sink slave ships. They used to go there, plunder it, take whatever they wanted, and sink the slave ships with all the slaves on board. All they had to do was free the slaves and say, all right, you just do whatever you want with these ships. What these devils did is sunk some of the ships, man. And then what did the British do? Because they was losing stock and cargo, they set out pirate hunters. So the pirate hunters, really the pirates was hunting the Spanish, who was British pirates and whatnot. Then the Spanish surrendered. These pirates was like, hold on, how are we going to get paid? The British tried to lay them off. They started plundering the British slave ships. Then the British had to set up pirate hunters. The pirate hunters started trying to kill the pirates. And then the sea was just one big madness. But let me read on. The Maroons of the North, original Spanish Maroons, who from the beginning had never left their strongholds, joined him and enlisted under his banner. Meaning what? All these black men came under one man's banner, like we're supposed to do right now, man. All these slaves came under Kodjo, man. And even before, they didn't even know the scriptures, but they understood that black men needed a leader, man.
That's right.
They understood that black men needed a Moses, man. That's what they understood. They understood black men needed a Moses, black men needed a Christ. That's what they understood. So with Kodjo as their leader, the Western rebels defied all attempts to subdue them and began to pursue a more regular and connected system of warfare. So now what happened? These brothers came together now. They came together, and these devils could hardly touch them, man, because they knew about warfare. Right. And based off Kodjo and how these men used to fight and their guerrilla tactics, the white man learned to fight from them during World War I, like I was saying earlier, because he just used to stand there in the middle with his gun and just shoot. Meanwhile, these black men was the ones who first started turning guns sideways, rolling on the floor, shooting from behind trees. Black men was doing that in the Caribbean, man. Until Esau copied us, whereas before they just used to stand in the open and shoot. That's what they used to do, just stand in the open and shoot. Read that for me one more time. Read Zephaniah 2 and 1 for me one more time.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired.
It's gather together, O nation, not desired, man.
Read on.
And drop that for time's sake. Give me Psalms 137 and verse 3.
Psalms 137 verse 3. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song.
Go ahead.
And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion.
Sing us what?
Sing us one of those songs of Zion.
They wanted us to sing and dance, and you pastor, he doesn't sing and dance, man. He sings songs, man.
Right.
Read on.
How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land?
How can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Listen, man. These devils want black people to just, give in and do as they're told. There's some black men that would rather die before they give in, man.
That's right.
There's some black men that would rather die before they bend over for the white man, man. Whereas the pastor bends over every day and life for this white man. There's black men that would rather die before they do that. There's black men that would rather die before they give up who they are, read on, before they give up their spirit.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget thy cunning.
He said, if I forget thee, Jerusalem, let my right hand forget thy cunning, man. And there's some black men who would rather, before joining the white man, they would rather drop dead, man. In order for them to join him, they would rather be, they see as better being dead than joining him, man. Guess what? Those black men today in the I.S.U.P.K, man. Those black men that would rather drop dead than join this white man, they're here today, man, in the I.S.U.P.K.
That's right.
These black men who would rather die than join the white man's military, die than rather join his police force. Them men is in the I.S.U.P.K right now, man. And let me read this real quick. Actually, read on.
If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth.
Listen, man. David
if I prefer not.
David said, if I don't love my own people and prefer my own people above everything, let my tongue cleave to my mouth, meaning what he would rather starve to death. That's what it means to tongue cleave to your mouth, because obviously you can't eat if your tongue's touching the top of your mouth. He said he'd rather not eat and rather starve to death. But let me read this real quick. Says the provision grounds of the rebels were sometimes discovered and destroyed. Those beaten out of their towns had a terrible time. Their women and children were always with them and suffered greatly as they wandered through the mountains and forests, seeking food and new homes. Listen, man, these men could have said, you know what? We'd rather not flee through the mountains. We'll just live amongst white people and just be cool and go to slavery. And because our kids need a good education, we'd rather be slaves. Because our kids need food and water, we'd rather be slaves. Listen, man, it says here, but the rebels never gave up. These black men never gave up, man. These black men had a vision, man. And their vision wasn't to be a slave. It says, but the rebels never gave up and were deaf to surrender. These rebels that they called rebels, these black men would rather die than surrender to these white men, man. You know who those men are today? Those men are in the I.S.U.P.K, man. Those men we're reading about
Right.
here, back in the I.S.U.P.K. right now, man. These men that would rather, these men that would rather die than surrender, man. And this is the spirit of a strong black man, stands up for what he believes, man. And he would rather die than surrender.
That's right.
Says, and also, this part goes into your Christian pastor as well. It says, the slaves were divided between those who opposed the rebels. Now, that sounds like your pastor, man. Your pastor opposes black men like us, man. Why? Because he sees it as, oh, you are ruining it for everybody. We've been given a good choice. You black men are on the forefront talking about black people, this black people, that you're going to make us not get jobs. You give black people a black name, a bad name. Listen, in the 1700s, there was also black men like that before, man. There was Salah Uncle Toms like that before, man, who moaned about us. There's always been Uncle Toms amongst us, man.
That's right.
There's always been Kimoy's Theodore Saunders amongst us, man.
Right.
That's his name. There's always been those Uncle Toms amongst us, man. It's nothing new. It says the slaves were divided between those who opposed the rebels and those who supported them. And then there's also black men that supported the movement, man. There's also black men that supported what they was doing because they also had a vision that black men that should be free. It says the larger section was jubilant at the militancy and repeated success of the rebels. A few joined them, and most yearned to do so. The section opposed to the rebels threw in their lot with the British in the hope of gaining freedom and financial reward. Listen, man. Tons of black people trying to join the British, thinking they're going to get their freedom. Listen, David Lammy hasn't got his freedom yet, man.
That's right.
Meanwhile, David on the news. David Lammy is the one that joins the British, thinking he's going to get his freedom. David Lammy ain't going to get his freedom, man. He joined them thinking he's getting his freedom. He ain't getting no freedom, man. And then there's black men who did what? Supported the so-called rebels, man. Also, what? Because the rebels was in the mountains and didn't have much food. You see the people that was on the plantations? They used to sneak the rebels food. Used to sneak them food and drink water and stuff. Used to look out for them and make sure that they was okay. Listen, man. Your pastor is the one that would hand you over. Yeah. The pastor is the one that would set you up, man. Give me Proverbs chapter 11, 21. The pastor is the one that will hand you over to die, man.
Right.
This is why we don't trust your pastor, man. We know your pastor wants to hand us over. Go ahead.
11 and what do you say? Slaki, other one.
11 and 21.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Though you want to join them and love them and hold hands with them, they ain't going to go unpunished, man. Though you want to join the British and love them and fight for their armies, they ain't going to go unpunished, man.
That's
for all
right.
the blood that they shed of God's people, they ain't going to go unpunished, man. For all the enslavement of God's people, they ain't going to go unpunished. Let me read this thing in the book real quick. It says 5 or 6 rebels had been killed in the river course. Williamson and squads cut off their ears. Now also what they used to do in slavery is what? Once they would kill a so-called rebel, a black man, in the Caribbean, they'll cut your ears off. And that was like a trophy, and you bring that back, you would get a reward. That was the proof that you killed a black man by you bringing back his ear. That's what you used to do. The more ears you brought back, the more proof you got of how much so-called rebels you've killed. So you bring back 10 ears. Obviously, they know, all right, then you've killed 10 black men. Like, they treated it like a sport, man. They killed black men to get a reward. They killed black men for cash. Let me read on. It says, which was presented as proof and allowed them to claim the reward offered for killing rebels. Listen, man, black man, hunting you is a sport, man. Killing you is a sport. You see how football is a sport? Killing black men is a sport, man. That's what it is. Let me quickly read this. So now this is a point. When one of the rebels was outnumbered, it says at this point one of the rebels called out in his country language. Neither Lamb nor Williams understood. Now Lamb and Williams, these was white men, white commanders. Obviously they didn't understood the language that this rebel was speaking. It Says what he said, but some of the Africans in their parties knew the language and acted as interpreters. So now, the white, obviously know these Israelites now, the white men's always had black people join them and be in these armies. So these black men that was with the white men, they acted as interpreters. Really, these black men should have never been in the white man's military, man. You ain't supposed to join yourself onto him. These black men joined themselves onto this. These black men joined themselves onto these white men. And he says, according to them, the rebel said that if they would not kill him, he would come in and give himself up. This seemed like a good omen. So now, this black man, this rebel, he was speaking in his language, and he knew that some of his brothers were with the white man. So he said, tell them, I'm gonna surrender if they don't kill me. I'll give myself up if they don't kill me. So they said to the white man, he's gonna come and give himself up if you don't kill him. Says one of the Africans who spoke the language was instructed to encourage the rebel to come forward and to assure him that he and any others who came in would be given liberty. So now the white man's rebel, if he comes forward, he's going to be given freedom and he's going to be given liberty, and we're not going to do him no harm. So it says the rebel advanced and continued talking to the interpreter. So the rebel came forward to the interpreter, which was the black man. Says until he got a clear sight of him. So now the rebel and the interpreter, they're close to each other. It says, then to everyone's astonishment, he shot the interpreter who died a short while later. Listen, don't join the white man. With that, we pass the class over to Priest and Officer Karafia. You join the white man, a black man might shoot you, you don't be a traitor. This rebel shot him white because this brother was a traitor, man. He tried to rob white people and got himself killed for being a traitor. You don't be a traitor to your race. We're going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Karafia.
The I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General GEN.YAHANNA. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come to school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be student only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8:10, me 10th in the Hebrew Ma'ashira, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund, free offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming holy convocations is Friday, 7 p.m. The feast of first fruits.
The closing, this Friday is the closing of the Feast of First Fruits. So we're coming down to that. B18 5PW 394 Lodge Road. We're gonna have some food and some drinks. And listen, come on down, man. Go ahead.
So yeah, I come to the boots boy the hallway. If anyone wants to be trooping the school, start wearing all black, like boot, shirt, pants, headband, and headscarf. With that, I remind them. The Lord's Brothers face east. The Lord's Prayer, Abanawa, Shabbat, Shemayah, Kodash, Ayah, Shankar, Yahweh, Malakaka, Saba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemaya, Nafananawa, Nakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawakanawa, Kasalakanawa, Kabawakanawa, Wala'ah, Tabi'ainawa, Walasayawan, Abba, Awashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Nakam, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahapara, I will love you,
in the English, our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven, give us today, our daily bread, give us our debts, and forgive us our debt, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, ever, so be. We got on the one consistent teacher. Man, a visual man Shabbat. I Madiam, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bakadah, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai,